Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to cover lecture number 12. Please confirm that my voice is clear and the slides are visible.
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, just to let you know that recording has been started. So the lecture number 12 is a theoretical lecture. We are going to cover the concept of value and utility today. But before that, we will cover the topic of consumer and producer goods. Before I go to the slides and discuss about the producer and consumer goods, first of all, you can tell me that how we can differentiate between the consumer goods and producer goods. Can anyone tell the difference between the consumer goods and producer goods? Okay, looking at the slide, the consumer goods are the goods and services that directly satisfy human wants. Examples are houses, books, shoes, health services, etc. So the goods that are directly consumed by the customer or the people, these are categorized as consumer goods. Like we do have the books, we wear shoes, shirts, and also if we talk about the services, so the health services, these are the consumer as far as in the category of consumer services. I will differentiate between the consumer services and producer services later. First, we are going to establish the difference between the consumer goods and producer goods, because these are the tangible and we can differentiate in a better way. Producer goods are the goods and services that satisfy the human wants indirectly as part of the production or construction process. Examples are machine tools, bulldozers. So these are the producer goods which assist in producing the consumer goods, in other words. So like in the construction of a house we have considered as the consumer good, but the machinery that is being used, like the bulldozers, these are the producer goods. So in this way we categorize the consumer goods and producer goods. What other examples will be in the category of producer goods? The CNC machine, milling machine, these type of the tools are basically the machine tools are the example of producer goods. As far as the services are concerned, so the services which are directly related to the customer, or you can say the end customer, are the consumer services. Like I am delivering a lecture to you, so it's in the category of the consumer services, you can. But if we talk about the consultancy or the programs that are called as train the trainers, the workshops that are designed for training the you can say the teachers, so that can be in the category of producer services. Mostly we differentiate between the goods, the consumer goods and producer goods, as far as the from our common understanding is concerned. But you may find the differences and you can search between the consumer services and producer services. That is the broader difference between the consumer goods and producer goods. If you search on the internet, you may find other differences as far as the consumer goods and producer goods are concerned. Now we are moving towards the utility and value. First, we will discuss the concept of utility. Utility is a measure of the power of a good or service to satisfy human wants. So it is very important to note here that this utility is the measure of a power of a good or service to satisfy human wants. So how much from a service or by using a product a person is satisfied, that is basically called the utility. Thus, the utility of an object, like its value, inheres not in the object itself, but in the regard that a person has for it. So, from here, we can understand and make clarity that it is relative, because for the same service or the product that is being used, the regard that a person has for it differs, and the satisfaction that he or she is getting out of that may differ. But overall, we can find the ways to increase the utility. That we will consider in the later slides, that how we can increase the utility, but overall it is relative, it varies from person to person. And also it is mentioned that the utility of an object, like its value, inheres not in the object itself. It's basically the regard that a person has for it. But how we can increase the utility in general, we will see in the later slides. Now, the consumer utility of raw meat can be increased by altering its physical condition by an appropriate application of heat. Like because the cooked meat can be can satisfy our need quickly, so that has greater utility as compared to the raw meat. But we need to have the process on the raw meat to increase its utility, and that process is basically you can say by the appropriate application of heat, that we are cooking that raw meat and converting it into a cooked meat or any item to be eaten directly. Now, in the area of producer utilities, the machining of a bar of steel to produce a drive shaft for a tractor is an example of creating utility by manipulation of physical environment. As we have already differentiated between the consumer goods and producer goods, if we are talking about the producer utilities, like we can increase the utility of a raw bar, iron bar, or the steel bar. We can, if we make a drive shaft for automobile, like for a tractor, for any other automobile, that will increase its utility. So in the both examples, we have seen that by the application of or going through certain process, we can increase the utility. Now, the purpose of most engineering effort is to determine how physical factors may be altered to create the most utility for the least cost in terms of the utilities that must be given up. This is the point of concern for the engineers, that although we say that we can increase the utility by having the process, but as you can see that the application of heat require the resources, and resources require take the expenditures. In the same way, if we are going to have the machining of a steel bar, it will cost us. How we can reduce that cost, that is the matter of the of concern for the engineers. In other words, that we want to increase the utility, and that requires certain processes, certain changes. But to have those changes and to have those processes, we need to use the resources. We must apply some effort, and that use of resources also needs certain also have the cost attached with it. So now we need to see that how we can have the maximum change in terms of creating greater utility, but the expenditures or the utilities that are being given up, or the resources that are being given up to create that utility, must be we spend less of these resources and create more utility. So here we need to apply the effort in terms of the knowledge, the resources, the technology, the advancement, different techniques, how we can have the more utility by having the less use of resources. Now, utility of consumer goods, we will see in detail about the consumer goods utility. The utility of goods and services that people intend to consume personally for the satisfaction they get out of them. We have already defined this thing that the consumer goods are the goods that are consumed by the customers or the people directly. and the utility that is attached with it is called the consumer goods utility. Now, the utility a person ascribes to goods and services that are consumed directly is a large measure of a result of subjective, non-logical mental processes. Here we need to see that what is meant by subjective, non-logical mental processes, and we will look into it with an example. Basically this paragraph says that when we are talking about the utility of consumer goods, that is basically because of the subjective non-logical mental processes that maybe there is no reason having a person to declare a product that it is having more utility, means on his own choice or personal understanding and the liking of that particular item, that person may assign greater utility to a particular item as compared to another person who may assign or have the less utility for the same item. But overall, for that reason, to have the utility, it do not require that there should be some logical reason, and we will see in the coming slide by having a look at the automobiles discussion. This may be inferred from the fact that sellers of the consumer goods apparently find emotional appeals more effective than factual information, because it is related to the subjective non-logical mental processes. So when we are talking from the seller's point of view, and we will see that what the sellers they find, they usually see that the emotional appeals are more effective than the factual information. What is meant by the factual information we will see when we see an ad related to the automobile, but here it is clear that the emotional appeals that to have the emotions of the people, accordingly if we design our advertisement, then that will appeal to the consumers or the customers. Here, early automobile advertising took the form of objective information related to design and performance, but more recent practice stresses such subjective aspects as beauty, comfort, and prestige value. We will compare two ads, the latest one and the old one. Here it is mentioned that if we see in the past the advertisement of the automobile, they have the objective information, lot of information or the technical points that are being covered, but now the more focus is on these things that are related to the comfort, the prestige value, the brand, or how it look. I will show two different ads so that you can see what we are talking all about. Is that picture is clear to you? You can see that. जी कोई एक स्टूडेंट आंसर करें, क्या आपको पिक्चर विजिबल है?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here you can see an advertisement, old advertisement of an automobile, and what we have already mentioned that in the past there is when we are going to have the advertisement, we do have a lot of technical information with our advertisement, but nowadays if we compare it with the latest one, the advertisement, you can find that there is very less information. Here you can see that this is all the technical data. Here again you can see that there is half of the portion is being covered by the technical information. But nowadays, if you see this advertisement and even the latest one, you can search very less technical information. Although some information is there, but mostly as compared to the old one, there is very less technical information, and the more focus is just to show the vehicle, automobile, and its main features and how it look like. Here again, the more focus is to have the features and how it look like, and there is very less technical detail, and even the if you see their ads, the clips. So you can understand that regarding the technical information, there is very less portion of time, but the overall how the automobile look like and how to basically what people actually want to see, they basically show that in their advertisement. Okay. So this is what we are talking about, that nowadays the more concern of the people is on the beauty, comfort, and prestige value, the brand, and etc. Now, as far as the utility of producer goods are concerned, the second kind of utility that an object or service may have for a person is as a means to an end. That is, the producer goods are used to make the consumer goods. So the producer goods are not consumed for direct satisfaction, but as a means of producing consumer goods, usually by facilitating alteration of physical environment. Now, the utility of producer goods are usually considered objectively. If we see the advertisement and of the producer goods, because they are used for preparing the consumer goods, and they are mostly, we find it in the factory floor. So that will be used for producing certain items. So the objective information is more important. Like we can say that if we are going to buy a CNC machine, we are more concerned about its speed, about the number of processes at a time, and about the precision value, etc. This type of information is required when we are going to by the producer goods. Now here, when we talk about the factual information, as far as we have covered this concept of consumer goods, here the focus is that the main advertisement, you can say, or the if we are talking about the ad on some newspaper, so we are talking about that one. If we go to the website, so again, on the website, the main information is about about its feature and how it look like, its brand, and the other items. But if we go in detail, of course, we will find the technical information as well. But for that purpose, we need to maybe go to another link and another page. As far as the information or advertisements on the websites are concerned. Now this was all about the utility. We will also see the concept of utility by having an example. We will see that example in detail. Now we will see what is meant by value. In economics, value is a measure of the worth that a person ascribes to a good or service. Now it is related to the worth of a particular item. That may be to a good or a service. Again, the value of an object is inherent not in the object but in the regard that a person has for it. So this is also related vary from person to person. A person may have a great regard for a certain item or good or service as compared to the other person, but it is not in the object, but it is in the regard that a person has for it. We will see the examples to clarify this thing. Value should not be confused with cost or price of an object. There may be little or no relation between the value a person ascribed to an article and the cost of providing it or the price that is asked for it. Here one more thing that we should be keeping in mind, that it is not the value is not the cost of an item, but that has some relation when we are going to determine the cost or price of that particular item. Then we can have a develop some relation, but it is value is not the cost or the price that of an object. How we can further elaborate this, what is meant by the value, if there is some item, a gift item that is given to you by your father or mother, so that gift item has more value as far as the same item which you may buy from some shop yourself. Because that gift item is given to you by your father or mother, so because of that particular reason you regard that item and it has more value in your eyes. That's why there are other things which are related to the emotions of the people, and they regard and they give more value because of some association with that particular item or product. Because of that reason, the same product which as the gift item I have explained, that is given to you by your father or mother, because you have the emotions with it, it has more value for you, but maybe for your for any person XYZ, that product has or the item has no value. In the same way, if you have won a medal or a prize, that medal has more value because you have won that one, and maybe that having a if we talk about in terms of the cost, maybe that is of 1000, but because you have won that one, so maybe you even not give that medal at a price of maybe 10,000. Why? Because that has certain association with you. You have won that one, and that is the recognition of your efforts, maybe in the academics or sports or anything else. In this way, we can the concept of value comes, and it varies from person to person. Here it is like the if we talk about some item that are being auctioned, if you search on the internet the expensive items that are being auctioned, or the prices that are being offered for certain items, certain paintings, you will be astonished, and you find that for an item, for a painting, there are people who have paid millions and millions of dollars to just to get that one. Why? Because they have the regard and they value that one, and they are happy to pay millions of dollars to buy that one. If you search on the Google, you will find a detailed. But if we talk about the actual cost of having that painting, maybe that is in thousands, you can say, or may not even in the thousands, but because of the uniqueness and because of the regard of that particular item or painting in the eyes of the buyer, he or she is going to give lot of amount to acquire that one. Value and utility in the sense used here are closely related. The utility that an object has for a person is the satisfaction he or she derives from it. Value is the appraisal of the utility in terms of medium of exchange. Now, another way we can see this concept of value and utility. Economy of exchange occurs when utilities are exchanged by two or more people. In this connection, a utility means anything that a person may receive in an exchange that has any value whatsoever. For example, an appliance for the home, a pair of shoes, a meal, or a friendly gesture. We can understand these things, the appliance for the home, a pair of shoes, a meal, but we need to understand about the friendly gesture, that how we are saying that it has a utility. Can anyone tell that how we can say that a friendly gesture has a certain utility? Any student that friendly gesture की क्या utility है? Or if we use the words of thanks or Jazakallah khair in return of a service that is being given to us. ओके यूटिलिटी को हमने क्या डिफाइन कैसे डिफाइन किया था? दैट इज बेसिकली देख लें ताकि आपको फर्दर. Utility is the measure of the power of a good or service to satisfy human wants. It means that these words, Jazakallah khair, saying thank you, or having a friendly gesture, it satisfy the other person. The other person feels satisfied if we say thank you, Jazakallah khair, or have a friendly gesture in return of the service, some service. So the other person feel satisfied out of these words. That's why we say that anything that is given up in exchange, that may be a physical item, or that may be a friendly gesture as it is mentioned. We further see that from an example that how it works. Now, A buyer will purchase an object when money is available and when he or she believes that the good has equal or greater utility than the amount required to purchase it. Here in this example, we are comparing the utility of two items and how the exchange will occur. Let's say that you are going to buy a cell phone and you only buy and the price of that particular cell phone is let's say 20,000 rupees. So you will see that if that cell phone has more utility than the 20,000 rupees, so you will buy that one. And the seller will sell only when the seller feels that 20,000 has more utility than that cell phone. So in this term, for the same item, the utility is different from the customer's point of view and from the seller's point of view. The same thing is mentioned. Conversely, a seller will sell an object when he or she believes that the amount of money to be received for the object has greater utility than the object itself. So the exchange will only occur when the seller will feel that the amount he is getting has more utility than the object or the mobile phone, as we have taken the example. Thus, an exchange will not be effected unless at the time of exchange both parties believe that they will be benefit. Exchanges are made when they thought to result in mutual benefit. This is possible because the objects of exchange are not valued equally by the parties of the to the exchange. Now, what makes it possible for each person to gain in an exchange of producer utilities? Regarding the producer utilities, sometimes we have the distributors among the producers and the consumers. So how they are getting benefit, because they are in the different environments, and there is detailed discussion of this particular question, and you can find the discussion in the example of lawn mowers from the book of Thuzen. Okay, we will have a break and then we will continue with this further example.